Episode 2. When there is no will, how property is shared under Nigerian law. Welcome to episode 2 of our legal series, Wills, Inheritance, and Family Property Disputes in Nigeria. In episode 1, we explained what makes a will valid. But what happens if someone dies without a will? That's what we'll explore today. This is very common in Nigeria, where many people either delay or completely avoid writing a will. Unfortunately, this often leaves their families in confusion and conflict. What is intestacy? Intestacy simply means dying without a valid will. When this happens, the law automatically steps in to determine who inherits what. So, the key question becomes, which law applies to the deceased person's estate? There are 3 possible legal systems that may apply. 1. Statutory law, English-style law. 2. Customary law. 3. Islamic law, Sharia law. Let's explain each. 1. Statutory law, applicable where formal marriage or will is involved. This applies when the deceased got married under the Marriage Act, i.e., registry marriage. Lived in a state or urban setting governed by formal laws. Left assets such as bank accounts, houses, or pensions tied to official documents. Under the administration of estates law, the property is shared using a standard formula. Here's a typical example. Mr. Addy dies without a will. He was legally married to one wife and had 3 children. His assets include a house, land, pension, and bank savings. His estate would be distributed as follows. His wife would get a portion, e.g., 1/3. His children would share the remaining 2/3 equally. If any child is a minor, their share would be managed by a trustee until they turn 18. What if he had no children? The wife may get a larger portion, e.g., half, and the rest goes to the deceased's parents, siblings, or other relatives. What if he had no wife or children? Then the estate is shared among next of kin, starting with parents, then siblings, and further relatives. Two. Customary law, traditional practices. This applies when the deceased lived a traditional lifestyle, was married under native law and custom, did not make a will or register a statutory marriage. Each ethnic group has different customary rules, and this is where a lot of inheritance disputes arise. For example, among the Igbo, the first son may inherit the family compound. Daughters were often excluded from inheriting land, although courts now frown on this. Among the Yoruba, the Idi-Igi system shares property based on the number of wives. The Ori-Ojiri system shares property equally among all children. Widows are not automatic inheritors, they may only remain in the house if permitted by the family. Key point: many customary rules are now being challenged in court, especially when they discriminate against women or stepchildren. 3. Islamic law, Sharia. This applies when the deceased was a Muslim and lived according to Islamic principles. Sharia law has a very structured system of inheritance. It recognizes spouses, children, parents, and sometimes siblings. Male children typically get double the share of female children. Wives get 1/8 or 1/4 depending on whether the deceased had children. Example: a Muslim man dies leaving behind a wife, 1 son, and 1 daughter. The wife receives 1/8 of the estate. The remaining estate is divided such that the son get twice the daughter's share. This system is clear and fixed, and it's applied automatically without room for personal discretion. Why dying without a will causes problems. 1. It creates confusion. Who is entitled? Who should manage the estate? 2. Customary beliefs clash with formal law. 3. Vulnerable people are often left out, especially widows, stepchildren, and daughters. 4. Family members fight over properties, especially land and houses. Conclusion: dying without a will gives the law, not the person, the final say on who inherits what. Depending on whether statutory, customary, or Islamic law applies, the outcome can be fair or deeply controversial. That's why writing a valid will is one of the most important things you can do to protect your loved ones. Thanks for watching today's episode on Legal Guide TV. Remember, knowing the law is the first step to protecting your rights. If you found this helpful, like the video to show your support. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Share this video with someone who needs it. Comment below with your questions or topics you'd love us to cover. At Legal Guide TV, we're committed to helping you do it the right way, legally. See you in the next series.